Boo, 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 boo. No, you can't go on the show, Basil. You'll have to get your own. You'll have to call it How to Eat Biscuits and Sleep All Day if you want a podcast. No, you're not going on. No. Oh, hello. Welcome to Dogman TP Hunting. And if you're listening to this, it will be on the Interdimensional Voyagers podcast. I have updated that, except for the last one that I did, which I've got to put on. I've done 2 interviews this week. Anyway, how are you guys doing? You all right? I hope. What's going on in the background? Let's have a look. There's something wrong in the background. Boo, 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 boo. What are we doing here? Let's have a look. Do. Right. Let's put something a bit more, bit less kind of like. Oh no, not that one. Oh no. Here you go. Moonlit Asteroid. That's a bit better. Hi, hope you've had a good week, all of you. Let me put comments up, see what's going on in the chat. Hello, Kate and Delroy. Hello, mate. Are you all right? Yeah, so this Friday, what I want to talk about is the Fae, fairies, basically, and the correlation they have with other entities like aliens. Just go into a bit more of a deeper dive on that, from that point of view, because I've been digging around a lot of like older books, and I found quite a few similarities. Also going to be covering 2 interviews that I did this week. One was with Sean Patterson, that I dropped the video of. Now he came on from the States, and he spoke about his interactions with Dogmen and Bigfoot as well, Sasquatch. So he was an interesting guy, ex-military, and he, what blew me really, what hit me sideways with that interview was he just came out saying that he actually vocalizes and talks with them. So what I've done, I've got a video excerpt of that as well, which I'm going to put on this. Oh, hang on. What have we got? Jojo. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Thanks for making it. Got... Yep. Jojo said hi, okay. So anyway, oh, hello, Voxy. How you doing? To be honest with you, she's only downstairs, but she likes the way the bedroom looks from this angle. I think that's what it is. So, and so, but that's nice. How you doing, Rox? You okay? So yeah. What else? Who else we got? Oh, Jojo says hi, Roxy. Nicola. Have a look. Where is he? Where are you? Hello there. How you doing, mate? You okay? Haven't caught up with you this week, although we have, and I've got some stuff that I'm going to be discussing anyway. But yeah, so it's fine. That's fine. It will explain more. I'm talking in riddles, but it will explain more as the show goes on, so it's fine. But hello, Nicola. You're right. Boo. Who else we've got? So yeah, so I was really interested by this guy, Sean, because he said he could actually talk to the animals, as it were. Bigfoot and Dogmen. So not mind speak. Oh no, not mind speak. Everyone does that. No. This is actually vocalized. And the guy, ex-military, nice guy, and I believe him. I absolutely, nothing can be discounted. Nothing can be, as we know, nothing can be kind of like jump on people's backs, go, no, he didn't, or no, he didn't see this, no, he didn't see that, because nothing is proved, nothing is not disproved. Nothing's not proved or unproven. It's it is what it is, and we have to take it for that until we have evidence and proof. But a lot of times, little snippets of information do come out. Oh, 8 Sphere. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for the message earlier. Did read it on YouTube. And yes, I do. I actually do take precautions, uh, because 8 Sphere was saying basically that when I'm talking about these things and talking to people about these entities, and some of the stuff that I do when my leg's not too buggered, when I go out in the woods and I go like kind of hunting for them and documenting stuff, then to take precautions and take care, because these things look back into you as you look at them, and a lot of times, yes, they do. Do you know, it's funny. I have often in the past, but it goes in like little spates of time. It might just happen for a week or two, um, and then it will stop. Um, and what happened to me was, hi Louis, thanks for making it, mate. Yeah, I am recovering. Stumbling around. Yeah, a little bit like raspberry, but I'm getting there. I can't. I try and sort of put more weight on that bad leg, but I'm still on crutches at the moment. I'm still on crutches. I can't. I can't say that I'm able to run a marathon yet. Not that I was ever able to really, but in my mind I was. But just no, it's still getting there. I've still got the raised toilet seat. They send you home, and before they do, the appliances people send you home with certain things. So you've got like a chair which you're able to use for strip washing. Yeah, so you've got a perch stool, as it were. So I still got that. Don't use that too much now, but I've got that, and a raised toilet frame. So basically, the frame goes around the toilet so that it's raised, because the worst thing possible, when you have operation like this, where you have like a full hip replacement, is going 90 degrees with your hip. You can't put that added stress on that ball joint, because it's never going to be as good as God and nature gave you. So it's always going to have a tendency to like either pop out of its socket or wear, and especially when I'm healing. So yeah, I've still got that, which is ever so funny to use, because when you use a raised toilet, you can't, if you're short like me, I'm like 5'6¾", I would say. But when you use a raised toilet seat, and Rock's fine the same, your feet dangle. You feel like if someone gave you if someone gave you a fishing rod, you'd feel like you're on a mushroom kind of thing, a toadstool, fishing in someone's garden. You'd feel a little bit like that, a bit gnomish, sat on a toilet having a wee, because you kind of like your legs just dangle like a little kid's. But let's have a look. Okay, yeah. Hey, Ian. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us, brother. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Getting there. Getting there slowly, Ian. Yeah, Jojo. Hi, Ian, she said. Fox. Hello, everyone. There's more people here. And yes, there is, which is lovely to see. Very lovely to see. I've got a lot to cover, so I'm not going to be talking about my favourite subject, which is me. I'm not going to be talking about that too much, okay? Or my leg, because we have got a lot to cover. We've got fairies to cover. We've also got fairy lore and a relationship with aliens. I've been digging a bit deeper with that, and also some video footage of interview I did last week with Sean Patterson. Also done another interview with Chris Machin. All right, now he's part of the CE5 group, avid UFO investigator, and he sent me through footage. Oh my word, did he send through some footage? He sent through like 60 different files of short video, 60 of them, and I thought, oh, what on earth? So, which is fine, lovely, great footage. I did appreciate it. Don't think I'm not appreciating it. Anyone that brings anything stuff in is greatly appreciated. But oh, evening. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for making it. The thing is, I was trying to do is clobber together that footage in such a manner that it was easy to kind of show, and in a way that was presented well. you know, so it wasn't bits and bobs, you know, all kind of like flitting from one to the other to the other. So what I've done is I made it into a bit of a mini movie, if you like, and uploaded it. So at the moment, the whole movie is on my members, on my members only channel, and that's the full unedited one. But there is another one that I've got. During the interview, I showed his full movie, but it's on a slightly smaller screen. Still the same movie, but still on a slightly smaller screen. But I'm going to show a little bit of that because it is quite interesting with the CE5 group. And they're a lovely lot. You know, I've never been with them, but, you know, going by the video, they got their deck chairs out and they got their binoculars, they got their cameras, and they got their hot flasks full of tea and coffee. And, you know what I mean? It's just fun. And the stuff they see is mind-boggling. Some of the stuff, you know, they say is absolutely mind-boggling. You think to yourself, it's, you know, it's just crazy, you know, absolutely crazy. And there's a couple of parts of it where it looks like, I don't know, it's almost transparent that you see through it and it's just going across the sky. Anyway, I'll show you. Right, first things first. Right, so I'll show that. That's not a problem. Right, so I've had to write down my sort of, if you like, my bit of itinerary. So if I cock this up, it's not my fault really, but I kind of like wanted to cover a few things, as it were. So let's have a look here. Right. So first up, this week I spoke to Richard Clements because he put a post up. Yeah, he's a historian. And he put a post up about, and it got me thinking about AI and the use of AI. You know, with the AI as in being the art form of AI. And if you remember that turn you looked up that was blurred out on Google Maps, I'm out of it. Oh wow, okay, Louis, yeah. If you remember that town you looked up that was blurred out of Google Maps, I'm out. Oh wow, okay, yeah, I do remember that. Okay, wow, you have to tell us about that. What a place is like. Yeah. Hi, Drew. Hello. And also, hey, how you doing, Tom? You all right? Thank you for making it, mate. Andrew, thank you. Right, so my question is to you, right, which Richard Clements did broach. Is AI actually art? All right. That's quite important because a lot of people use AI and a lot of people use it for things like for graphically explaining things like aliens, dogmen, Bigfoot, you know, and the thing is, it you know, at the moment, it's so ingrained into our psyche. Is that a good thing or not? Is it, you know, because of what we see, we kind of like envisage, and it does it taint our view in a way? Is it a good thing? I'm not so sure. So, right, I've given this some thought recently, having used AI recently on the short, which I did. I find it is to be considered an art form. Okay, although the execution is carried out by AI and not a hand and brush touched by canvas. All right, so it is purely machine. Yet the initial idea, the genesis moment, still has to be sparked by us, and I think that is the important part. That's the important part, because if it wasn't for the great detail that we have to put in the description of what we want, it's not going to reproduce an accurate reproduction of what is needed. It's going to have a lot of blanks the AI is going to fill in. It's not actually going to be that accurate. That's what I was getting at, you know. This then gets interpreted by AI. So having used this, I found that I still have to describe the picture in some detail for an accurate rendition on the screen, else AI fills in the blanks and it's not wholly what one envisaged. Basically saying what I said. Imagine a blind person, yeah, describing a scene to a master artist. Would that be the artist's picture or the blind person's picture? Haha. You see? Would it? Who has ownership of the idea or the execution? This I believe to be the pertinent question, which I do. So that's something to like kind of cogitate over and let me know towards the end what you think. You know, kind of that whole scenario. You know, you've got the blind person giving a description to a master artist to make a rendition of what he's describing. You know, who holds the art? You know, and I think that's is pertaining when it comes to AI. But yeah, that's the first thing I sort of had this week. Right now, another thing I want to talk about is fairies. Right, there's a lot of misnomer about fairies. So you know, I just want to cover a few like kind of grey areas, as it were. Right. There's no such thing as fairies having wings. Okay. Indeed, this was only a thing from the 1920s. An artist, Cicely Mary Barker, drew fairies having wings in her painting called Flower Fairies. And that is originally where it came from. So when we you know, see about you know, pictures of fairies and they've got wings, originally years ago, hundreds of years ago, they didn't have wings. There wasn't such a thing as wings for them, you know. So that's the first thing, right? What we got? Right. These entities are actually extremely diverse in appearance and in temperament and the magic they wield. However diverse, from dwarfs to mermaids, goblins, gnomes, and the skriker. That's a bit of a different one. I'll explain that one in good time. I'll explain that one. All have one thing in common. All share themselves with us in sightings through the ages, passed on in folklore. But it is their world that is a world just outside of reach from our own, a hidden in plain sight land. That's important. That is important, you know. Now a lot of this stuff, right? I got from old books. I mean, we're talking. I've been going through old books from charity shops. Best place. Charity shops, a wealth of knowledge because you know they have house clearances and other bits and bobs going on, and you find a lot of really old books that have a wealth of information and it's fascinating the stuff that you find, you know, and you can't find it online because it's before online. No one's actually gone through and put it up online. But yeah, it's brilliant. So right, round and round, round and round the world they go. Okay, that's what I put. Right, this is all my own writing, but referencing is I've referenced from a lot of different books and channels of information. Okay. Right. Japan, the Kappa. The Kappa spirits, both clever and unpredictable, stories of taking people under the water. Right. So the Kappa, they have a lot of these are good and bad spirits at the same time. Okay. So they have two sort of like facets to them, you know. So they kind of like to take people and they take them under the water, and they also are voyeuristic. The Kappa are, so they very often with ladies in kimonos, sorry, and in partial undress, they will sneak and look at them, you know. Two, so that's Japanese Kappas, to American natives have known about the Yunwi to Sundai. Yunwi to Sundai. In Cherokee are said to be benevolent and helpful. Same thing. Fairies, you can call them fairies. I have got a couple of Dogman testimonies after this as well. Okay, so new ones sent to me. But I just want to cover this about fairies because I think it's quite important. Yeah, right. Where was I? Oh yeah, Cherokee. Okay, so Yunwi to Sundai. Okay, benevolent and helpful fairies to them. The Yana tribe speak of a completely different type of fairy, one that is a man-eater, the Yotsky. Yoyoski, yeah, that's a Native American Yana tribe, yeah. Probably butcherized the pronunciation, but Yo is in Yo, Y-O, and Y-A-U-T-S-G-I. So Yo or Yo Yatsky. South America, Dundies. Dundies reside in caves, even known to be found in the walls of one's house. Local law says they steal away children. Oof. Africa is all different, all around the world, all different variants of fairy folklore. It's I ignorantly I always thought it to be a bit of a British thing, really. Like cricket, but it's not. It's all over the world. So yeah. So Africa. Let's go to Africa. Africa, the strange Toko Tokoshi Toko Tokoloshi Tokoloshi. Got it. Tokoloshi. Wicked and dwarf-like fairies can be asked to do harm to those that sleep. Now you get the Aboriginals. Totally different. Totally different. Aboriginals speak to Mimi or Mai Mai. Mai Mai fairy spirits who live in rocky crevices, wise and helpful teachers to the indigenous people to hunt, cook, paint, and make fire. So you can imagine, I mean, one of the oldest cultures and races, the Aboriginals, and basically they were taught by these Mai Mai. It's just like, wow. And right, so yeah, fascinating. So these entities are not limited to any one region or landscape. They are, to be clear, the same, both kind, nasty entities spoken about thousands of miles apart in cultures diverse through custom, geographic extremes to nature. That culture all have similar fae spirits. So in culture, you've all got very similar spirits, haven't they, right? Yeah, aliens have also been seen in many forms, the most common, the greys. I won't describe them here because if you don't know what the grey is, then I'll give up. I mean, everyone is basically in just awash. Social media is awash in the greys. You switch on TV, you switch on a series on TV, pretty much anything, and I can almost guarantee I will be turning around going, "Oh, yeah, there's going to be another grey. It's going to pop out of a portal." Yeah, it's a multiverse. It's a multiverse. This is going to be another multiverse. End of season multiverse. Got to be in it. Yeah. So nearly everything. So if you don't know, you should know. Right. Right. Really. Yeah. Most common form of greys in this films considered from related to enduring folklore. Right. So we know that well, let's look at the different types. Firstly, aliens. They fly in craft, UAPs. Well, sure, in films and TV shows, but have we seen them in the cockpit of a craft? Usually, seen them flying one. No one's actually seen anyone flying a UFO, or from a abduction. No one said, "Oh, they're not big craft either." When they get abducted, they're not big. I'll explain it here. Hang on. Well, let's look at the difference. Firstly, but aliens that flying, and no one's seen them flying in a cockpit. So they haven't. You see like the aircraft and the tic tac and the rest of it. You don't see any windows. You don't see them kind of like flying along. With a steering wheel or with joysticks. You never see the pilot. The most important bit of kit on a flying, anything flying, is gonna be the pilot, but never kind of like see that part ever, ever. And it's like intriguing why we don't. I was like, why? Right, it's been fully witnessed. People have seen people in portholes. Yeah, so when I've seen UFOs, there's been reports of people seeing other people or entities in portholes of a flying craft, a UAP. That's taken as a given. Yeah, they have. I'm just putting the other comment up. Hi, inwards. Yep, that's fine. Right, it's been witnessed people do it and in around porthole windows in the craft for sure. But think about it. It's the main nuts and bolts of an aircraft. The one singular most important job on any craft, the pilot, surely. And these craft are not supersized battle destroyers. Yeah, they're usually 15 to 25 foot across in diameter. A lot smaller than a battle destroyer. So they're kind of like really small craft. Yeah. We kind of like, get that part of it. So that leads on to now when people as us get taken, abducted. This is going back to fairies, right? I'm just giving a bit of a background here. Abducted on board. So if someone gets abducted on board, unless they are the actual ships are modelled on a TARDIS, which is time and relative dimension in space, as I understand it. Why is there no account of seeing the pilot mentioned? And that's a pretty important job, with maybe signs: do not disturb, do not distract the driver if abducted, do not scream behind the pilot. You don't get any signage. No one ever notices that in an abduction. So how big are these things? If they're being abducted onto a ship and the ship turns out to be relatively small, which they invariably are, let's have a look. Yeah, I think. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I think some of the craft are actually organic. Yes, I agree. I had a witness on last year, and I she said the same thing as well. She thought they were organic, and I agree. I think they are, and I think there's a symbiotic relationship between the driver probably and the ship. I think it kind of like is more because the ships have been known to morph, change shape. So probably. But then we had that footage this week. Who saw that footage this week of the spiraling out of control UFO hitting and impacting, nosediving into a desert? That looked pretty convincing. That did look pretty convincing, although the actual aircraft, strangely enough, the flying UFO didn't half look like it came out of a 1950s B movie. Its windows had a row of windows on top of the actual saucer bit itself, and this row of windows almost looked square. It looked like, they were like, if someone said, "Oh yeah, they're sash windows," I'd have been like, "Oh, yeah, I agree." It was very 1950s, that shape. So if that film was like kind of recent, maybe we're expecting too much. Do you think we're expecting too much? Do you think we're expecting, because maybe we've been spoiled? We had that footage of that egg-shaped craft, didn't we? Being suspended on cables from a helicopter. We've got all these different, and that's new egg-shaped craft. Well, not new actually. I do remember in an old TV series that they had like these egg-shaped UFO craft. But still, That one that nosedived into the desert, yeah, it's a bit. I don't rate that one so much. Not, I really don't. But there you go. Yeah, who can tell? Right, so we're back to Are they like a TARDIS when you go in? And if they're not like a TARDIS, then why is it that the people that are being abducted never really see the flipping pilot? Never. I mean, if it was me, I'd be looking around. I'd be like, oh, unless they've given me Thorazine or something really to knock me out, some horse tranquilizer, then I'd be frantically looking around for something I could possibly identify as maybe an exit. But I don't know. Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, when people talk about that, they talk about TARDIS. Now the Fae. Now, yes. Listen. Right. Okay. Now the Fae also have their own flying UAP. Much the same as their grey counterparts. It's called an orb. Now this is all probability, but I've kind of like got a feeling that there probably is. That looking at orbs, and I've seen an awful lot of them. On a lot of them, you can almost see, and a lot of people tell me, so Phil, I've seen faces in them, or little entities. You can see figures, flipping figures inside them, tiny little figure. You know what I mean? And it just plays with your eyes. You're like, what? But what if? Just what if? Yeah, the size, but then we've got UAPs abducting people where they go into them, and there's no question that 15 to 25 foot in diameter, maybe a bit bigger, but still big enough to have all the greys or aliens that they're talking about surrounding a human being on a table operating. And there's no pilot, there's nothing else. It's not infinite amounts, but it's not a TARDIS. It must see something else. There must be something else. But saying, so yeah. Let's have a look. Was it Ian Wood? Yes, especially the folklore linked with werewolves and bluebird. Yes, I know. Well, that's where it comes in. I was mentioned about the skriker. So, but I'll mention that in a bit. The skriker is very interesting. Linked to the Fae folk. But well, let's take a look. Yeah. So now the Fae also have their own flying UAP, much the same as their grey counterparts. It's called the Orb. Who could be abducted in something that small? Now, the TARDIS effect seems not so silly, which is quite true. As I pointed out with the UAPs, that doesn't seem to be mentioned, but they're not that big. So the orbs, yeah, really, Well, let's take a look at traditional UAP and Fae craft. When I was a kid, and this is true, right? This is absolutely true. I used to have a terrifying dream, and it reoccurring dream. It was a reoccurring dream. It was a huge, enveloping, massive black shape falling over me, and in contrast, equally terrifying, the shape turned into the smallest of plank measure, and somehow took me with it till I was nothing. And I had that dream for years and years and years. The most kind of nondescript. There was no narrative to a dream. There was no story to a dream. It was just this big, massive, huge, enveloping. The size of it was huge. And then it would just go to nothing. And it would take me with it into nothing. But I have a lot of really strange dreams. And it was really scary at the time. There was no rhyme or reason for it. And it stayed with me ever since I was a kid, and I'm 58 now. I don't have it as much, but when you do, when I remember when I had that dream, it kind of like there was nothing else. It was hard to dream about something else to take my mind off it, trying to fall back to sleep. It was one of those dreams. Do you know what I mean? It was an odd one. It was a standout moment dream. It was like kind of Tom, but I think we work physically well. I think we work physically well. They work on other levels, being years ahead technology wise. Probably, yeah, could well do. I mean, their craft is amazing. It defies gravity for a start. It defies physics. Its maneuvering defies physics. So it's just, I think the most anybody can endure is what, 9 Gs, 10 Gs. I think that's it. But these things are pulling thousands of Gs. Going at phenomenal speed, stopping and doing a right hand turn. So yeah, there is, there is a technology there, but um, but okay. When I meant werewolves, the other name for Dogman, Shuka, or Bleka Skuka. Bleka Skuka. Okay. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably didn't. But hello all. I made it. Hey Laurie. Hey Alan. You all right? Okay. Yep. Jojo says hi, Alan. I'm just catching up with the comments here at the moment. Not not the shape shifting one. Hollywood werewolf means man wolf, same as Dogman. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Um, right. Okay, just bear with. I every Wednesday. So every 2 weeks on a Wednesday, basically. I do it again this Wednesday. But does some interesting stuff. It's part of North American Dogman Project's main chapter. So it's quite interesting, seeing the other pond, on across the ponds, their side of things as well. That's what I find interesting. Right, I'm just catching up with that. Right then, okay. Right, okay, like I said, while co-hosting a radio show for Kenny Fubedy on Midnight Lycanthropy concerning Dogmen, we have to consider the witness accounts and photographic evidence and stop perhaps moulding that into our own logical narrative to fit. Okay, so basically, on this show, I spoke about, is Dogman actually real? Is it real? Is it a real entity? Because you get examples, especially in the States, where we shot a Dogman, a Bigfoot, but the bullet went through or it ignored the fact that a bullet was fired. Now, this has been documented many times, yet no blood or evidence of a hit was found. It was there, we saw it, then it morphed out. It just either predator styley disappeared out or went into a tree. Now, when I read that, right, I was like, I was on the show, and it reminded me about another interview, and that interview I had with Matthew A. Johnson, okay, from the Zanu. I was on an interview last year with him, and he said an interesting thing during the interview because I asked him. I said, "We're going to get back onto the Fae, don't worry. This is all pertaining to it." Right? So anyway, believe it or not, but he said, "Phil, do you know what?" Because I said, look, keep seeing people with baseball bats beating the crap out of a tree, to mimic the wood knocks. And funny enough, I spoke to Ian Wood on here about it. The same thing. And Ian said, he said the same as me, Ian Wood did. He said, it's impossible to try and mimic exactly that sound, the sound it makes. It's close sometimes, it's close. But, no enchilada. It's not exact. It just hasn't got that hollowness to it. It hasn't got that. I don't know. It's odd. It's like it's a different kind of sound. You can't just hit the tree with a baseball bat and expect it, or another branch and expect it to sound like the wood knocks I've heard, Ian's heard, and the multitude of other people have heard in a wood. Just not the same. Just not the same. Matthew A. Johnson told me, look, Phil, they're not wood knocks as you know. What they are is the Xanu. He calls them Xanu. I call them Bigfoot. You might call them Sasquatch. But either way, it's them entering and leaving a tree. Yeah? Now, how damned fey is that? Seriously, this is what I mean about this stuff, like kind of intertwining. You know, you get little snippets, and you've got to recognize those snippets to intertwine them. And you think, hang on a minute. Oh, is that when it was entering a tree? You mean that sound is when it's like pops out of a tree and pops out again, and that's the sound. Well, being that I can't mimic it with a branch by hitting a tree, being that I can't mimic it with a baseball bat hitting a tree, yeah, I could be right. But then, if that's the case, and I'm talking about these things where, you know, morphing out, you can't see them, they disappear, they present themselves as something else, they go into a tree. It is very fairy like. It's very fairy like, you know. It's kind of like really intertwined here. It conjoins. There's a little meeting point in the road where all these stories have just a little something, but you've got to recognise that little something and put it together. And that's one thing that kind of, at the time when Matthew told me, I was like, oh, really? Oh, I suppose. Yeah, it's another one. But then when I was reading up about the Fae and the fairies and like kind of, I thought, you know what? Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. So, right. Okay, so I'll leave all the links for the interviews that I mentioned in the description. Okay, I haven't put them out at the moment, but as soon as this is done, I'll put them there. All right, so you'll be able to have a look for yourself. Okay, and any videos. When I feature the videos, I'll put them there as well. I'll carry on. What I've explained on the show with Kenny was that it's time we stop trying to put their round peg into our square hole. Okay. In otherworldly words, are rules. In this reality, don't apply. So their otherworldly rules perhaps don't apply. We're trying to apply them to our rules, and it doesn't fit. It's not fitting, and that's why we're scratching our head. Or maybe we have to kind of assume that their rules won't fit in ours, and to respect theirs as being their rules, however absurd it seems. Maybe, you know, to understand, maybe we have to. To understand why the powers to be, so basically otherworldly rules, is this in this reality don't apply, and perhaps in knowing this, information, knowing this helps to understand why the powers to be in an ocean of information and disinformation. So basically, why the powers to be come up with so much crap, basically, you know, because maybe they don't want to stand that this thing's around us all the while and has been around us all the while and doesn't travel across the voids of space, and has power in this world we're living in, basically, because they don't truly know the extent of the threat to defend from the powers to be. And perhaps the threat is something so old, so ingrained into our psyche, that it's difficult to look out of the fishbowl because we're so accustomed to the distortion of our reality we're in. See what I mean? So we're that little fish in that fishbowl looking out, we can see shadows going past us. We can see what looks like people going past us, what looks like this going on, that going on. And so that fish, us, we're thinking that they're also swimming. Or not. It's outside the fishbowl that is truly clear and in perspective. But would the powers that be want to take that fish out of its environment? Could that fish live in the new world outside the bowl? Probably not. But the fish still sees the distortion of that world outside, and maybe it should know. Maybe the fish should know, at least. If it can't live in that world, maybe at least it should know. But then, like the fish, how do you explain that world to the fish? How do you explain a 30-ton truck going past an ant? How do you explain that to an ant? It's so big to an ant. That's not what it is. It can't recognize. It can't even comprehend it. It feels it. It feels it. Probably can't see it because it's just too big. See what I mean? Can't comprehend it because it's just incomprehensible. So right, to get back on track, fairies don't seem to be trapped as us by gravity or take much notice of the physics of our world we know. Okay, this is with the Fae. Fairies seem to move through solid matter. Matthew A. Johnson pointed out the knocking sound of Bigfoot entering and leaving a tree, for instance. Okay. Aliens have been witnessed to also have the same ability. Coincidence, perhaps? I don't really believe in coincidence. Fairies can shapeshift into other different physical forms as forms. Once again, we have the same reports of alien witnesses talking, for example, of owls, sharing the same dreams and visions, the same space as alien contactees. Coincidence? Maybe. See what I mean? There's definitely a correlation there, you know, between two. There's similarities. Let's have a look here. The hairy folk make many sounds with their voices. Just throwing that one out there. Yeah. Sean Byers. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. Madam, yes, you've been down the rabbit hole with the Fae and fairies of late, haven't you, sir? I indeed I have. I just find it, you know, intriguing because, you know, as I say, when you see the correlation between fairies and aliens, you just think, ooh, you know, but it's not until you actually really dig down deep and go into some of these old manuscripts and writings and, you know, that you kind of like start seeing a little bit of a pattern, you know. And also, I've got to be honest, I will at some point. I've had dreams. I do have a lot of prophetic dreams. So I do wake up. Rox will tell you I wake up at 2, 3 in the morning and just hurriedly scribble down stuff. So I also gain a lot of knowledge that way, I believe, with my dreams. The Everything Engine, that was a dream. Took me 10 minutes to write. That was from a dream. So, you know, but I've had a lot since. Had a lot prior, had a lot since. I don't stop having it, but it's a pain in the butt sometimes. But when you want to sleep, fairies can show coincidence. Fairies are generally capricious. Okay, something often spoke of by alien witnesses. Fourth alien was benevolent, then later, without remorse, changed and was operating on me or testing me in a cold, clinical manner. It had changed its mood and attitude very quickly. Exactly the same with fairies. Some fairies, you know, they are capricious. They kind of like can snap like that 1 minute they're great, getting on with them. Next minute, boom, that's it. They've got the arse ache and just sort of curdling your milk, ruining, chucking your crops over a cliff, whatever. You know, they're very changeable. But aliens as well, they're kind of not all just the benevolent aliens we know and told about. You know, there is a darker side to them. We know this. Right. They very often share the same almost childlike understanding and are confused easily. For instance, and I'm not saying they should crack a joke, but in every account, both aliens and fairies seem devoid of humour. They cannot understand the idiosyncrasies that make us human. They are almost always purposeful in their logic and understanding, kind of robotic, alien completely to our understanding, comprehension in our world. Now, what I mean by that is they find it difficult. They almost like somebody studying bacteria in a petri dish. I don't want to go too Orson Welles here, but you know, they kind of very observing of us. Do you know what I mean? They're very observing of us. They always seem to be. Every single account, either fairy or with alien, they're very, very observing. They're very almost clinical in their kind of, and they don't get it. They don't sort of understand almost. It's difficult for them to understand us because we have got foibles, some more than others. But yeah. So what are fairies? Supernatural. They exist in a world between angels and humans and visit us through a portal or a ring connected to their plane or realm of existence. Once again, we get the both. We get the both with fairies. We get the both with aliens or greys. You know, there's nothing kind of like new as in there. Aliens somewhat supernatural, and also exist in this world, not quite angels or wholly human. And again, they visit us from another realm of existence. This is aliens, yeah. Or we are told from Mars. See, I find you know, I get it. A lot of the photographs of Mars when you got the statues. There's one I saw on Facebook where it had like kind of statues of Buddha on Mars and things like that. I think there was a civilization there, but do these things come visiting from outer space? And like, you know, I don't think so. I think that, you know, we are told from Mars that look, so basically the powers to be want us to look up at the sky because you'll miss what has been in front of you for thousands of years. So they came from up there, but actually no, they came from down here. Both these entities seem to have an equal fascination of us in respect of a distinct lack of our cultural humanistic understanding and demeanor of human function and society traits. It's as if in their understanding and they consider it's us that shouldn't exist. It's us that is their folklore. Do you see what I mean? I'm completely wrong, probably, but it seems that way. They kind of observe us almost as if you know, we saw them scratching their head at us. You know, they just can't get it. They don't get it with us. You know, I think even more so than we don't get them. I think they don't get us. You know, I'm sure of it. Okay, now I'm not saying that little green men and fairy folk are one and the same, but consider this. It's a story I found. It's just a quick one. Before fairies existed in Ireland, a legend existed that a race of gods arrived from the Atlantic Sea on a cloud of mist, unearthly in origin. These people settled and called themselves the, right, I'm butchering again, right, but I'll give it a shot. I've been practicing most of the afternoon. And called themselves Taifa de Danann. Tafa da Danann. Tafa de Danann. I'll put that on the description, okay? The people of the goddess Danu. They shared skills and information, now lost, but after an age, the indigenous Irish Milesians fought and pushed back the, here we go again, Tuatha de Danann. You have a good laugh later. Right? These otherworldly gods went into portals in ancient burial mounds, now in post-Christian medieval monks. Post-Christian medieval monks describe these otherworldly ones as fallen angels, not gods, and because of their lack of Christian faith, this has had the effect of considering them to be no giant gods, but small folk instead, fairy folk. So this has taken, me into like kind of a different thing. I was like, oh, right, okay. So, what they talk about on that manuscript was before fairies arrived in ancient Ireland, then there was these otherworldly beings that came across the Atlantic. Strikes a chord, doesn't it? Came from across the Atlantic in this kind of like strange mist, and landed and shared their skills and knowledge with the natives. And the natives, as soon as that, us being us, I don't need them anymore. Let's get rid of them. Rule it ourselves. And that was it. And they became small folk, fairy folk. Actually, they were huge. They were large, big, godlike creatures, godlike entities. So, it does. I don't know, Atlantean, Atlantis, actually, could be, don't know. But, it's funny. Once again, it all meshes together. Little tiny bits meshed together. But, yeah, it's the oddest thing, right. So now let us know what you think about that in the comments with the Fae. I've got lots more, but at the moment, I did promise two separate people. I did promise two separate people that they kindly sent their testimonies in to me. These are Dogman testimonies, okay, that have happened, and I want to read them out. One's a shorter one than the other, but they're both very good. One's quite frightening, but they're both very good. There's 1 minute, let's have a cup of tea. But yeah, interesting. I just found that fairy thing interesting, the alien thing really interesting. And if anything else, if it can just sort of draw your attention and just make you question, that's all I want, just question things. Just like kind of, just sort of like, kind of, the government, the powers to be, they all tell us this and all tell us that, but there's more. There really, truly is more to life than what they're letting on. We all know that. Ready, steady, retro. How you doing, mate? Let's have a vote. Okay. Who's that? Let's have a look. With Alan. Oh my god, I do too sometimes as well. Is that Dreams? If that's dreams, yeah, it's strange. They're like really, they are quite pathetic. They do, they kind of like do end up, oh, like deja vu. It's kind of a bit like that, but you kind of dream it initially. It's not where it's deja vu where you pass something and you're sure you've seen it before. Pass something or go through into a situation. It might be walking into a shop, Primark, or hobbling into doctor's surgery. And that group of people waiting in the surgery, that group of people waiting in the doctors, I would have dreamt of the night before. And the fascinating thing is, I would have written it down. That's the difference. And that's what's like quite sort of, let's have a look. Interesting. Just got to catch up on it. I don't have anyone to do my comments on that, so I'm just sort of like going through. It's not enough. It's not though it shook is on 4 legs. Yeah, that's it. Type 1. That is, yeah. Type 1 shook. Agree. To disagree. Truth. Okay. Alamas. Yes. Okay. Is dreams. Yeah. Okay. But I do know. Yep. Joe knows an awful lot of stuff. Ready, steady, retro. Missed the first 40 minutes. I will catch that back up. Okay, that's cool. That's all right. Lovely. Sean Perez, I have been confronted by a fallen angel. They are very unpleasant and resonate at such a low frequency it makes you feel sick. Interesting. Okay. What form was that in? If you let me know what form that was in, that fallen angel, what form did it come to you as? Was it like a shadow being, or was it physical form? Was it something you could actually, had depth to it? You could see it as a physical form, or that'd be interesting to find out. That'd be interesting to find out. But yeah, for sure, Jojo. That was Ian Wood. Watch Deb and her reports. Okay, yeah. Which Deb, Jojo? Ian Wood. Okay. Right. Okay then. Now, testimony number 1. Okay. 2 separate testimonies, 2 separate times in different areas. Okay. I will put up a map as I'm reading as well. Right, let's have a look. Jojo said Hatswell BBR. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So, right. Testimony 1. Here we go. Cheshire, approximately 1989. 10 to 11 years of age. Okay. This witness was. Let me just get that map up for you. Okay. Because he did send me a map. Aha. Here we go. Right. Okay. I hope you can still hear me. That's good. Right, I can't read your comments at the moment, but don't worry, I'll catch up with them. 10 to 11 years of age. December, January, 5 p.m. Dark, clear sky, cold. I was a passenger in a vehicle heading north through Pickmere to to Parley area to a toll bridge over the River Weaver. I remember passing a garden centre on the right-hand side of the road with Christmas lights on. I noticed 2 red glowing dots behind a hedge next to a farmer's gate on the left side of the road. I thought it was a reflection of a trailer lights in a field, maybe. Then I see it. It's an animal that looks like a big dog. Or a dogman now standing up on 2 feet, looking at me through the car window. I don't know if the red eyes had some negative shock effect on me, or I saw its face, from the car headlights behind. I remember my heart was beating fast, and I slept with the covers over my head that night, and my digital watch light on. I passed the same road another time in the day and commented it was maybe a sign for a dog kennels or a scarecrow that I saw that night. It was only recently the memory triggered. I am guessing it was a werewolf, given the other testimonies of them in the same area. That ends that testimony. So yeah, that report done. Interesting. And that's a map of the area that you sent me. And that was, and I have spoken to this person, because believe it or not, there is quite a few sort of like, people that are less than genuine. So I do, if anyone sends a report in, I do like to actually talk to them, or I do like to strike up a conversation, just to kind of like get a gauge of their character, their outlook, because at the end of the day, if they're absolute fruit and nuts, it's wasting your time, it's wasting my time. But I can tell you this person was quite, yeah, he's no fruit and nut. They're no fruit and nuts, these ones. But right, another one coming up. This one's slightly longer, very good. Now this one I going to read out is a great testimony. It's quite scary. All right, so if there's any youngsters listening, I would sort of like say, well, switch off, or listen to someone else. I'm just going to catch up quickly with the all right, can you ask her about Werewolf Mick? Okay. I don't think I know Werewolf Mick. I haven't met him, I don't think. I think I've seen a program with him, I think, but yeah. I will do a mod for her. Okay, you should do. No worries, I've sent her a lot of photos over the years. Okay. Right, and some interviews as well back in 2017, 2019. Jojo says, Andy are great friends. Yep. Jojo says, oops, right. Sean Bryce, yes, in shadow form. Right, okay. This is that yeah, this is that entity that you said was evil entity. Yes, in shadow form, around 5 foot. The archangels are the same size, but they are white light. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I had a shadow entity that was bizarrely mad as in bad vibes. I think everyone knows that story. But north of Winsford and Cheshire, huge area for werewolf dogman inward. All right, okay. I see you know the area then, Ian. All right. That's me. That's the name you gave me. Okay. Right, okay. What, Werewolf Mike? Ian. All right. Yeah. Yeah, she'll send me the pics. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I think we're up to speed on that. So, what I'll do, this is the second testimony. Right. Also, at the end of this, I got a photo. What it was, it's a short little piece. I've late last year went on a couple of ghost hunts. Not a lot went on with them. Not a lot went on. I didn't get any stunning captures on video. Wasn't great, but I didn't get anything stunning. Bits and bobs, but that was about it, you know. Since I've been off, recuperating, you know, hobbling about, I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a look at my still camera, because I've got a reasonably good still camera. And I thought I'd just rip the shots off from that, stick them on my phone, and have a good look at them. You know, the still pictures, and they're all still pictures from the investigations. Because on the investigations, what I tend to do is I just blindly, whatever. But I take the video, some video in, and then I just snap away. You know, wherever I think I should snap, just snap away. And then if something turns up, something turns up. Well, guess what? Something did turn up on one of the shots. And I want your opinion on it, because I think it is a bona fide apparition. I've also got video backup of it. I've got video backup to show that, you know, it wasn't there at the time. So if you like, got an apparition on camera. It's not a reflection on the lens or refracted light. It's not. And anyway, I'll explain it. But yeah, ghost. Yeah. So yeah. So that's good. Yes, mate. Yes, you have, Ian. I've got loads of photos. I've got loads, tons. Right. Okay. This is the other testimony. Okay. This is quite intense. Right. So it was 1998. I was 14 years old, and my friends and I went to an organised hike on a mountain. The second night, we got drunk, and I threw up where we were supposed to sleep. So my friends got mad at me and sent me to sleep in an old barn on the other side of the village. But it was dark, and me being drunk and feeling sick, I missed the barn and continued to walk in the dark. Suddenly, I heard a grumble on my right. I stopped and turned to look, and there it was, a giant wolf. It was dark, and I was drunk, but it was still a village where people lived, so there was enough light coming from somewhere for me to see it well enough. It looked like it was in a crouching or sitting position, but its head was at my eye level, and it had a big head. I saw shoulders, and it had hands, not paws, hands with claws. It was too dark for me to see its colour, but it was blending with the night, so I assume it was possibly black. And I believe the eyes were amber, but I'm not 100% sure. So me being drunk and stupid, I told it, you are the last thing I needed. But a second later, I realised my situation, and I bowed my head and said, "Please don't kill me." The wolf man was max 2 meters in front of me. It didn't do anything aggressive towards me, but I know I felt, I wouldn't even call it fear, but complete shock, a feeling of complete helplessness and total loss of control. I felt like I was going to fall apart mentally, emotionally, and physically. Soon after that, I fell to my knees, but still, I kept looking down, and I heard it in my mind saying, "Get up, or you will die. Get up, or you will die." And it kept repeating that. So I listened to it and managed to get up, but all the time I was looking at the floor. Now, if I stayed on my knees, I would probably pass out and suffocate with my own weight. After that, I tried to look at it, but couldn't. I only saw its hands again, and then went back to looking at the floor because it was too scary. I then started to repeat to myself, "You were not real. You were not real." But then again, I heard in my head, "Stay still. Somebody will find you. Stay still. Somebody will find you." So then I started repeating to myself, "Somebody will find me. Somebody will find me." And after some time, somebody did find me, but didn't come close because he saw it too. He shouted from the distance, "What are you doing over there? There's something with you. Come here quickly." As soon I heard his voice, I snapped out of it and went in his direction. Without looking back, the person took me to the barn and I fell asleep there. I forgot about this for 25 years. And only a year ago, I started remembering. Also, a month ago, I spoke with a friend who was there at the time, and he confirmed to me that what I told him. I saw a werewolf the morning after it happened. So, as much as the experience was scary, this wolf, man, woman, I don't know, I'm not sure about the gender, saved my life. For what reason, I don't know. I really don't know. I can only guess. Maybe it's connected to my karma and past lives. Who knows? But I'm sure that one day I'll find out. I plan to go back to that village. It's an hour away, and there's a small waterfall nearby, so I'll go spend some time there. And who knows? Maybe I'll have the honour to see it again, because I want to say thank you. So this is my story. As unbelievable as it sounds, this is what happened. And I'll finish by saying that I don't see the wolf people as monsters. Humans are real monsters. I feel a great respect for the wolf people, and maybe even something more. So that was an account from somebody that I've been messaging for quite some time, and talking to, and I can say 100% that he's not taken to flights of fancy. They're not taken to flights of fancy at all. Yeah, so that's another thing which was really good. Oh, 1 hour 19 minutes. God, time goes quick, doesn't it? I tell you, blimey. Who have we got on? Let's have a look. Jojo still, Ian Woods, Sean, yeah, Ian Woods, Ready Steady Retro, Alan, yeah, Dawn, yeah, Sean, Tom, Tom Brett, Fox, yeah, that's not bad. That's good to see you all. It's lovely. It's nice you oh, Kate, yes, lurking. Okay, right. Who wants to see a ghost? Yeah. What I'm going to do, just check something. Right, good. Okay, I'm up to date. Oh, hang on here. Wait a minute. Who have we got here? Rich Peg. Evening, Rich. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good week, mate. Giving orders and drinking tea. You're good at that. Yeah, good. Excellent. Barking, should I say? Barking orders. Yeah. Lovely bloke. Absolute diamond geezer. Yeah. Now I know that he knows stuff as well, but one day I'll get a chance to talk to him. But he knows, I know, he knows stuff. He knows that, don't you, Richard? You did briefly mention something, but one day I'll nail him down. But anyway, right, okay. Ghosties. Right, now I'm going to try something different here, okay? I'm going to try, right, while I'm flapping around, I'm going to put a split screen on. Okay, so I'm going to take some video from another screen and put it on here, okay? So first of all, I'm going to show you about the interview that I did, a little bit of the interview. I think it is Sean Patterson from the interview, 34 minutes in. There you go. And it mind speaks. It talks about the mind speak with a Dogman. Really interesting. Right, hang on a minute. Right, okay, did it present? Share screen. Right, bear with. Okay, right, that should be sharing screen. I'm going to put it full size. Okay, right, let me have a look. Yeah, you can see that, yeah? If I put myself... No, hang on, make that bigger. That's better. Right, still see comments. Yep, that's good. He will meet the Dogman. Yeah, okay, that's Ready Steady Retro. He will meet the Dogman Wolf again one day. Do you know? I hope that guy does in a way, because I hope that person, because he's a lovely guy. You know, Rich Peg, hi. Saying to Jojo, yeah, lovely bloke. Rich is really nice guy, genuine nice guy. Right, here we go. I've got to go onto another screen to play the video. Okay, I think I've paused it on the right part.
This is only. I don't have proof of any. I don't have proof of this. What I'm saying.
I'll take it back.
You can look it up in your spare time, but there's a lot of weird energy and stuff about it. It's called Black Star Canyon in Orange County. There's like people supposedly see, like there's supposed to be a lot of weird energy there. So I'm thinking a lot of these. This is only speculation. I don't have proof of any. I don't have proof of this. What I'm saying. But I think from what I think they've shown me, is they hang out on the edges of these portals and keep stuff out of here. There's a lot of other universes with stuff coming out that aren't really good for the world or anything in it. And I think one of their jobs is and I think Sasquatch helps them with that. And I've gotten so many photos where it seems like they're much more communal than a lot of people think, where they live together and work together. And you got to think, who's their number one enemy? It's us. They live in a world built by us, so there would almost be no point in feuding, right?
Yeah,
You would think of it strategically. And what I've also seen is that there are a lot of animals, the coyote, the raccoon. There are animals that have benefited from us, and a lot of people I probably get flack for it, but I think they benefit just from us the same way. I've been uh, I strongly and you see more and more counters coming out of the city of Sasquatch, and I think a lot of that is no one's going to want to report that. Like, what were you smoking? There's no Sasquatch in the city. Like, someone would just get shamed for reporting that, even by like other supposed experts for that. So, like, there's more and more coming out of the city. And from what I think they've told me, is like they take full advantage of full dumpsters full of brand new food. They can eat roadkill, different.
Right, hang on. So that's an excerpt from Sean Patterson's interview I've done with him. He talks about Bigfoot and Dogman and about his interactions with them. And as I say, is perfectly believable. He's got his head screwed on right. He's this stuff goes on. It's out there. It goes on. It doesn't matter what country. And it's just fascinating. And there's a lot of commonality. Thousands of miles apart, and yet the same sort of stuff goes on. But yeah, he really good interview, and he talks about actually interacting with them from the point of view of vocalizing. And it's just brilliant, really, really good. Oh, thanks, Dawn. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, really good testimony. Yeah, it was good. Let's have a look. That was a great interview. Ready, steady, retro. Yeah, that was. I enjoyed that one. I must admit, I enjoyed that one. That interview with Sean Patterson was very good. Right, I'm going to get you up a bit of another one now. Let's have a look. Right, me on big screen again. Hello. Okay, right. Now, okay, let's have a look. Right, now, this one is, this week I've done an interview with Chris Machin, who I've interviewed previously before, part of the CE5 group, really nice guy. And he gave me loads of footage, 60 short clips, really short clips of UFO and UAP that they catch in the night sky. Some of them flashing, some going across, and some of them really weird. Some of them look like a translucent going across the night sky. Very, very odd. I just want to play a little excerpt from that one, and that was this week as well. That Chris Machin CE5 UFO UAP interview. I had to do it in two parts because we both like a really good waffle, I know you think I kind of like I'm short and abrupt, but I actually do like a good waffle, so yeah, I'll play that one. That's quite good. I'll mute myself. Watching this and they want any details or Chris's details, it'll all be on the description at the end of the video. I'll load up all the links there. Thank you, Chris.
No problem.
Right, let's have a look on this. I'll continue on. I've turned the volume of the video down slightly.
Oh, mate, it maybe picked it up then. Yeah. Yeah, you can hear the excitement. I can still feel the excitement now. It's great. Until the coffee runs out.
The coffee runs out. Next week. Oh, hang on. Yes. Now there's another one as well. There's two of them. Actually, there's three. There's a little tiny one moving. I don't know if that's a plane. At the top, in the middle. Let me take it back a little bit. All right, let me just take it back a little bit. Right, look in the middle of the screen at the top.
Yeah,
there.
Got it.
From center going up.
Yes, yeah, I've got it. I've got it.
Tiny little thing. That's a busy old night. That's a busy old night, that is. And there's a little one moving before it.
Yes. Yeah.
Very odd. These are some great captures, Chris.
Oh, they're great. Honestly, they've kept. When I got the camera, I thought if I capture one UFO in my whole life, I'll be happy. And we just literally night after night after night, we're catching something that is unusual. That you're like, oh, what the hell is that like? You're really scratching your head in an empty night sky. It's bizarre.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And this is it goes back, and if you look at it like this, if you can point your camera to the sky and pick this stuff up without doing CE5, are we really making contact, or are we? Is there just a correlation between what we do with the meditation and thing and seeing additional activity? because it's already there, Phil. I don't do CE5 every night to get this.
Yeah, I see. Look. I don't know if the meditation. I think a lot of times we're taught, and I think a lot of the things that from ghost to paranormal to even cryptid, I think they need to be witnessed by us to sort of almost to exist, if you like.
Yes.
I do think that. Okay, but and I think there is a correlation between us witnessing. They know we're there to witness, and I think the same with UFOs. I'm not sure. I don't know. I've heard people that I think it was Ross Coulthard that was said that he went to one of these meetings,
Yes, he did. Yep.
and he was absolutely blown away. He's quite a sort of a matter of fact
Yes,
type
absolutely.
of guy.
He's quite skeptical. As it happens,
Yeah.
he's actually quite skeptical.
And he was blown away by the meditation business. He said, well, yes, and it does kind of, things did start happening in the sky.
Exactly
And
that.
he was like, and when someone like he says it, I'm like, ooh, really? Which does make sense what you say, that, and I've must admit, I've always said the same thing from the point of view of, predominantly my thing is for the paranormal and cryptids and dogman business. But,
Yep.
I there is some kind of connection there with like we spoke of in part one, with our consciousness and with these beings. And I think the same goes with UAPs. I think exactly the same goes with them. Right, yeah. So we I stand by that. I do stand by that. I think that's absolutely I think that's absolutely correct. But and it goes with ghosts as well, which brings me on to my last video excerpt and pictures from a ghost hunt that we went on, and this was at let me think, where was it? God, I can't think now. Where was it? Oh yeah, this was at Colchester Castle, and it was organised by Seventh Sanctum. I'm not with them anymore, but this was one of the last times I was with them on a ghost hunt. Now, as I say, I was wandering around as I normally do when I do a ghost hunt, and it's like kind of an organised event and stuff like that. Then and I had Joe Public there and that. Then I normally go off wandering on my own. I don't stay with a group. I kind of like go wandering because I get more interaction that way. I'm not one of these people that thinks that, by toting a load of 10 people into a small room shouting out for a ghost that they're going to appear. I think they are more selective than that, and I think these entities are more selective from the point of view of you will always view them on a peripheral. They like it sometimes they enjoy the scaring the person. They enjoy the they're not performing, they're actually appearing. That's the difference, so I get more interaction when I'm kind of on my own, on my Todd, which works against from the point of view of backing up my claim. If there was a room full of people saying, yeah, we sort of same thing, Phil, exact same thing, then wonderful that is. But very invariably never happens. It's always, well, I happened to go into that dark room, which was an old prison, and I saw something, But people go, oh, did you? Right. Oh, okay. Because there was no one else there to back it up. But then it wouldn't have happened anyway if there was 10 people in that room. So it's kind of a bit of a conundrum. But anyway, let's get to it. So anyway, what happened was the Seventh Sanctum had the public around a table, and on the table there was these candles, not lit candles because of health and safety. They were LED candles, right? So they were LED candles, and there was Laura Cornish. There was Richard Clements, the historian. There was Andy Mercer there as well. You know Andy Mercer. And Kerry Ann. And some public, and and anyway, they were chatting and they were trying to do some mediumship at the table. It was a big long table with 2 sets of chandelier candles on the table, and I was wandering around, taking the odd photograph of the table, taking the odd photograph of people. I then didn't look, as I explained, until I saw the still camera sometime afterwards, and I ripped off the photos. This was a couple of days ago, really. I thought, I haven't seen those photos. I'll rip them off and download them and then have a little look. Then I saw this thing and I was like, what the hell is that? And then I went through the video footage and, well, I'll show you. It's easier to show sometimes, isn't it? Right, okay, let me get it up. I've got to do that and then that and then that. I'll show you the video footage first, okay? Bump. Right, does that come up okay? Yeah, okay, good. Right. So it's low light, I'll take it back a bit. Right, it's low light. Let me just, that's fine. Right, so okay, it was low light anyway, all right, but this is video footage. But you will hear my still camera still taking shots. Yeah, go click, 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 click. Right. So and it is during that I checked the still camera and something turned up. Right, I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna mute myself, okay? Well, I'm gonna mute myself now, okay? Okay, by the way, the sound's not great, okay, because it's a big hall. Okay, so you see the candles on the table. And right, you see the candles on the table. You can see little, right? If there's any spirits, any entities here, I've just been through the other side, and I'm sure I saw someone walk past that doorway, which made me go into the room on the other side, and I saw lots of artifacts. Is there any residual spirits here which were attached to those artifacts, and the reason why I saw something move past the door? If there is, can you please make yourself known? We mean you no harm. We only wish to communicate. Tap, knock, touch somebody. It's perfectly fine. Touch me. That's absolutely fine. I really don't mind. But please, if you can, use our energies while we're here. And just try to bring yourself forward. If you listen carefully, you can hear the camera clicking. Can I ask if there's anyone here who's lives close by or has got a long family history with the area? So, is there a lot of people here with a lot of family history to the area, or have you come from outside the area? Yeah. Okay. Because it's the castle was quite a focal point for the community. Years ago, it would have been. So, you know, hopefully with some of you that have an attachment, a family attachment through the generations, it might be that. Right. Now you see the candles, yeah, and the candelabras, yeah, 2 of them. Have you noticed anything about them at all? Do you see anything else there? That's what you've got to concentrate on now, because I move around the table. Make sure, have a look, careful look at where the candles are and above them. Yeah. Now remember, they're not flickering flame candles. They are just LED lights. Okay. But that's the area that we're interested in. Okay. And I didn't see anything myself. But, you know, you might find something going on more than most people. Going back to the 18th century, sort of French Huguenots, so possibly a bit before. Very old stones, almost like an altar stone over here. Make a note. This is where I'm taking photographs, and this is where, when I show you the stills, yeah, this is where the entity was, just above those candles. Yes, mate. Okay, right. So we've got that, yeah? Now, let me stop that for a minute. Right, now I'm going to show you the photos that you heard me clicking away. Same area, same perspective, but all I was doing was clicking away with my digital SLR camera, Canon. I didn't see anything on the video, but then the camera showed this up. Right. Okay, right. That's a still picture of that we saw the video of. But that's a still picture. That's not video picture frozen. That's still picture. Then took another one. Still can't say anything. Couldn't make out anything. Another one. I can start to see like a glow, more of a glow coming from the coming just above the candles. The candles are like glowing more, like they get more misty. And right, do you see something forming? Can you see something forming there? Look at this one. I didn't see that in the video. And the previous still shots, I didn't see that either. On this shot, I saw it. That. I used a filter on it, so I turned it into black and white to make it a bit highlight it a bit more and the people less. And that is what I believe I call as some kind of entity. Whether ghost, probably, don't know. Couldn't see it on the video, and that is all I saw at the time. And then after I transferred the shot over and I had a look, that is what I saw, and you can see it sort of like slowly kind of like manifests out. It's a slow thing. It's not a gradual. It is a gradual. I meant it's not just like a in your face thing. It's it's like kind of a slow thing that sort of comes out. And from there, I then enhanced it and got closer, and you can see that it's some kind of shape, something ethereal, but it's intriguing. Really intriguing. That is not a camera flare. I picked up no flaring at all on any other shot, and on the video I picked up no flaring coming from those candles. But then boom, this was like in shot, and I was like, what the hell is that? So yeah, if you can give me your thoughts on that, that would be absolutely fantastic, because I'd like to know what you think that is. That is like kind of quite a strange one. I think it's quite a strange one, you know. But yeah, if you give us your thoughts, that'd be great. Let me know. Other than that, what we got on the comments? Okay, yes, lovely. Right, okay, right, guys. Now for the Friday night thoughts for this week, I'm going to wrap up because we are running over by about 20 minutes. Do you know that? Right, okay. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I want to thank you very much for joining me. And next week, I'm going to come back on Friday Night Thoughts again. And I've got an interesting week coming up. I'm going to be talking to India. Okay, got witness testimony. And I'm going to be talking to to people in India, to this person in India. So was that going to say? Was that I'm stumped typically how energy feels when I see them. Wow, really? Okay, Lloyd. Wow. Yeah, I'm honestly tell you what, I was stumped when I saw the photograph. It's one of those where I like looked at the photograph and I had to look at the video. Then I looked at the photograph again, looked at the video, and I was like kept contrasting the two, because I was trying to debunk it myself. I thought, but there was something there. I can definitely see something there. But anyway, yeah, let us know. Who's this? Drew Hollings. Hello, good live. You're more than welcome. Thank you for joining me. It's my pleasure, and I do thank you for joining me. You know, and if it just like kind of, if all I do in this is just give a little synopsis of the week and my views are only my views, and it kind of helps people from the point of view of like just question and think, oh well, I don't know. If you got anything yourself that you want to send in, that you want to chat about, that's fine. Also, what I can do on this, if you want to have a discussion and you've got a good story or good account, or there's something which is like really bothering you, yeah, and you want to actually join me on this, I can send you a link and you can come and actually join me on this to chat about your experiences, to chat about, you're more than welcome. Yeah, but it has to be something which, I must say, has to be something which is new, that we haven't heard, from the point of view of like past testimony, and also, if it's something that's really bothering you, and you think that people out there can help, their comments can help, I hopefully I might help, then marvelous. Then contact me on Messenger or email. My details will be below in the description, but you've got those anyway. You should have. They're on my bio on YouTube and Facebook. So, yeah, that would be great. But you're more than welcome to if you want. Okay. Other than that, listen, I say thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it, and I shall go and get a cup of tea. I'm just going to play this out. And I thank you I do thank you very much for your time. Right, play some funky music. Wayne, thank you.